Okay, so let's have some fun. The Office is awesome, and I assume that if you clicked on this, you probably agree with that. The comedy is a realistic take on the American workplace, but the series crosses into the drama genre on a regular basis. As we're getting close to Halloween, I thought it'd be fun to talk about the times that The Office crosses over into the horror genre. The internet likes lists, so that's how I'm gonna frame this, but ranking this is as subjective as something can get, so don't read much into the numbers. It's really just my excuse to talk about some of the spooky stuff from the show. With that, let's dive in. Number 10, Killer Creed. Okay, I thought we'd get the elephant out of the room. Creed says some crazy stuff throughout the series.
When Pam gets Michael's old chair, I get Pam's old chair. Then I'll have 2 chairs. Only 1 to go.
Between making people disappear...
Nobody steals from Creed Bratton and gets away with it. The last person to do this disappeared. His name? Creed Bratton.
And being involved in multiple cults...
I've been involved in a number of cults, both as a leader and a follower. You have more fun as a follower, but you make more money as a leader.
Creed is a fan favorite, and for good reason. He's awesome. But in season 9, we get a glimpse of what this list is really all about.
I didn't realize that everybody here dresses up every year.
Me neither. It's Halloween. That is really, really good timing.
And this isn't the only time in the series that Creed's potentially shown to be a murderer.
Sir, there has been a murder, and you are a suspect.
Okay. Hang on just a sec. Let me settle in, and I'll be right back.
Very good.
Are these throwaway jokes that have no real weight or backstory, or are we seeing the aftermath of the horrific acts that Creed Bratton has committed? Number 9, Killer Dwight. Okay, so here's one with much less screen time. This one comes from season 4's Survivor Man.
No, I would never leave you for dead. You would never escape. Then I would remove your teeth and cut off your fingertips so you could not be identified. And they would call me the overkill killer.
Is this Dwight watching too much CSI? Or has he spent nights contemplating murders and their eventual cover-ups?
You are as creepy as a real serial killer.
Dwight's always shown to be a little off, prone to breaking social norms and living in a fantasy world.
I don't believe you. Continue.
Cordially, future Dwight.
If a vampire bat was in the US, it would make sense for it to come to us Sylvania. It appears that the website has become alive.
Professor Copperfield's miracle legumes?
I stab her in the brain with a wooden stick. There are several ways to kill a zombie.
He who must not be named, I wouldn't do that.
No, not a wizard. A hobbit.
Season 9's Halloween episode even has him on a search for a psychopath and ends with him realizing that he's the one with psychotic issues. I mean, anxiety, but still.
Dwight, look, it's just a pill, all right? It's for anxiety. I take it every day and it makes me feel better. And maybe it could help you too.
Number 8, Cinema of the Unsettling. Season 8 has a lot of things that are unsettling about it, but amongst the top of that list has to be the airing of Gabe's no-narrative, unsettling short film. While definitely taking influence from The Ring, and I'm sure that there are things like this film out there.
The cinema of the unsettling is a growing film movement. The most well-known film in the genre is an hour-long shot of a squirrel with diarrhea.
Gabe seems to cross the line by including Oscar's grandmother.
Is that my grandmother?
And then getting secret, weird, voyeuristic footage of Stanley from the backseat of his car.
What the hell is going on here?
Okay, I think we've seen enough, but you can turn it off.
And there's no resolution. Gabe just puts on a mask and walks out of the room, and the film's never mentioned again. But the implications here are quite unsettling, least of all, the invasion of privacy. Gabe does say some disturbing things from time to time in the episode.
Walk away, bitch.
That's not one of them, but I do think the Cinema of the Unsettling is a great example of a genre bleed over. Number 7, A Night at Schrute Farms. Back to season 4, this time in the money episode.
I declare bankruptcy!
While Michael's working a second job, Jim and Pam visit Dwight's bed and breakfast at Schrute Farms.
I mean, I'd heard about his beet farm for years, but I never thought...
The Beats Motel.
The Beats Motel.
Between Moe's cutting power for the entire house,
And as of this morning, we are completely wireless here at Schrute Farms. But as soon as I find out where Moe's hit all the wires, we'll get that power back on. Alrighty.
Moe's creepily watching them during story time, Pam investigating a slamming door noise, and Jim tracking down the source of some moaning. While it's played for laughs, The Night at Schrute Farms is definitely the most horror-inspired thing in season 4.
I thought you were Moe's. Does Moe's have nightmares? Oh, yes. Ever since the storm.
Number 6, Michael's gun. Okay, this one's more dark than horror, but in season 7's viewing party, we get this throwaway joke.
You can have my seat. It's closer to the TV. It'll seem louder.
Pam, I have a loaded gun in my desk at work.
And then the episode moves on and the gun's never referenced again. Maybe Michael was making a joke here, or maybe he's just being frightfully honest.
And if I ever start acting like that weenie Gabe, I want you to take that gun and I want you to shoot me like 100 times in the groin until I'm dead, okay?
If it's the latter, the implications are a little horrifying. Michael is a character that's on edge throughout a lot of the series. He rarely thinks before he acts.
I drove my car into a lake.
Stupid.
Yo, you don't even know what stupid is. It's about to get all stupid up in here.
And the idea that he has a loaded gun at his desk is quite frankly a little terrifying. Thankfully, the show rounds out Michael's character on a happy arc. We don't have to think about the horror that could have befallen everyone in the office. Number 5, Dwight started the fire. Speaking of fate that could have befallen everyone, season 5 Stress Relief famously shows Dwight starting a fire in the office. While Dwight by no means seems to have any malicious intent, quite the opposite in fact, he directly contributes to Stanley's heart attack.
Yeah, right. I filled him full of butter and sugar for 50 years and forced him not to exercise.
And to be clear, fire is dangerous. It spreads quickly and it could have killed everyone quickly. Someone in the last couple years edited this scene, they took out all the jokes and they added some music, and it's a little unsettling. Also, since I watched This Is Us, I've been a little paranoid about people inhaling smoke. That could have killed people too. Most shocking is that Dwight doesn't seem to grasp the danger he caused.
Man's life is in my hands.
Now, don't you worry about that. I got it covered, okay? I am planning a bomb scare that should really get the blood pumping.
Good thing he learned his lesson about doing dangerous things at the office.
Someone get me a banana. Sorry I freaked you guys out.
Ah! Andy!
Ah!
Number 4.
How about you, Pam, me, Casa, little dinner, dancing, drinks?
Okay, if you're a fan of this channel, I reference The Dinner Party a lot. That's because I think it's one of the best episodes in television history. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have horrifying implications. Michael is a man at the end of his string.
I'm in hell. I'm burning. Help
He's
me.
in financial ruin, not to mention his dreams of having kids are fleeting.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Jan, on the other hand, is at odds with Pam over Michael for some reason, leaving us to conclude that she's delusional.
But if she was going to poison the food of someone at that table, wouldn't it be me? Michael's former lover.
And it's probably also true that Jan's been unfaithful. It's clear that their relationship is a ticking time bomb of domestic disturbance. And this dinner party was the detonator.
That is a $200 plasma screen TV you just killed.
Last year I made a horror movie trailer just out of the footage from the dinner party. Check it out if you want after this video.
She is the devil.
I finally broke down.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Number 3, The Scranton Strangler. Did our series, based on an American workplace, need a localized serial killer?
But she decided to take her sweet time, so now I have to switch it with today's paper.
Introduced in season 6, the Scranton Strangler is used again and again for jokes and even minor plot lines. While there are many theories about who the Strangler is, including Toby.
These are silent killers.
You are the silent killer. Go back to the annex.
You'll see.
Dwight.
Sounds like someone's really trying to convince us that he's not the Scranton Strangler.
To my chickens, I'm the Scranton Strangler.
Jim.
See, I knew we lost somebody on the tour.
They're all just fan theories. It's pretty fun to think about. But what is not is the horrifying implications of a madman running around the Scranton area, murdering people in a Scream-like scenario, except without a knife and just with his bare hands. And while the Strangler is apprehended later in the series, Toby later becomes a sympathetic character to the culprit just to get himself strangled in the process. Thankfully, he survived the experience. So even the show in the background for years set up the idea that any of our characters could be murdered, or better yet, be a murderer. We see them dealing with the implications of the murders that were committed. Number 2, Schrute family rituals. The Schrutes have a lot of odd traditions, including shunning children.
I was shunned from the age of 4 until my 6th birthday for not saving the excess oil from a can of tuna.
Getting married in their literal graves.
You see, I get what they're trying to do, but why are the graves so shallow?
But oddest of all is seen in season 9's failed spin-off pilot, The Farm, where we see the Schrute funeral.
You were the aunt to my cousins. Most of your life you were 5'4". At the end, you were 5'1".
They're a descriptive people.
All of this is in the quirky region until we get to this dark turn.
That's it for me.
Guys, I know this is a comedy show, but the implications of this are quite horrifying. The Schrutes, instead of, with the help of medical professionals checking out if the individual is actually deceased, now just blow holes in the corpse of their loved ones. I mean, emotional trauma alone for the shooter is one thing, but I fear for any Schrute that ever falls into a coma.
We decided to make sure that our dead were completely dead. Out of kindness.
Okay, so far we've seen a lot of great moments in the series that have some horrifying implications. Before we get to the number 1 most horror-inspired moment, consider giving this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, and all that, it helps me out. I also am reviewing every episode of The Office, so it's a lot of fun. Check them out. Okay, begging's over. Let's get to it. Number 1, Snowball Fear. In season 7, we see a typical Jim Dwight prank kick off the episode.
Hey, Dwight.
But it spirals into this bloody, emotionally scarring sequence of events, the climax of which is the most horror genre blending The Office ever sees. After Dwight sets a precedence that he's willing to hide in a snowman for an ambush.
I have no feeling in my fingers or penis, but I think it was worth it.
Jim and Pam leave the office and are greeted with 12 snowmen.
I'm sorry. I had no idea.
No, it's okay.
The planning and execution from Dwight is spot on, and the depths of which this affects Jim is obvious.
Okay, this is it.
What?
Go.
What? What is this? What?
Go, go.
Oh my God! Honey!
This sequence is not only one of my favorites from any Christmas episode, it's a genuinely brilliant and terrifying conclusion to the escalating prank war that they had in this episode. While this one doesn't end on a dark note like most of these, I'll never forget the feeling of seeing all of these snowmen for the first time.
In the end, the greatest snowball isn't a snowball at all. It's fear.
Okay, so that's my list. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Leave it in the comments. I want to hear the most horrifying moments in The Office for you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.